Today we're going to be talking about how the guitar and music in general boosts kids' confidence, brain power, and community. Forming music, kids can build their confidence to become more self-assured. A lot of these children have done better with vocabulary tests compared to students that didn't have the training. So they're just focused on a specific goal, especially with kids with ADHD. Music.
What do you tell to someone like me?
Public speaking is number one fear of a lot of people, and I think anybody who tells you they don't get nervous performing in front of people is lying.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Nicole Kovar. I am the founder and director of Piano and More. And with me, I have Steven Rubin, which is our fantastic guitar teacher. He comes with a lot of experience, and he's going to be hosting our webinar today. And just to give you a quick introduction, Steven is originally from New Jersey, began his musical journey as early as first grade, performing in mock concerts, fueled by his love for mimicking his favorite artists. As a teenager, he joined his first rock band and has been performing ever since. And I know that to be true because I went and saw him perform just recently, and it was awesome. Steven's teaching philosophy centers around making the guitar a joyful and exciting experience. He believes that music should be an expression of oneself, and he strives to inspire his students to find their own voices through guitar. So I'm excited to see all the benefits that guitar brings and also your experiences.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. Today we're going to be talking about how the guitar and music in general boosts kids' confidence, brain power, and community. And we'll be discussing how through the process of learning and performing music, kids can build their confidence to become more self-assured, not only in the guitar, but also in life. Music education exercises cognitive skills, including reading, mathematics, listening, physical coordination in a unique and fun way. Kids can connect with other like-minded people and build relationships by working together to achieve a common goal. All of this is done through music. Today's podcast is going to focus on learning the guitar and its role in achieving these goals.
Awesome. I'm excited to get started.
So a little bit about me. I figure I'll discuss a little bit of my background. Nicole had mentioned a little bit about me. And one of the things I like to say is that even at a young age, I think I realized that I was always a musician, even before I started playing my first instrument. A lot of people ask me when I started playing the guitar, and I really started playing when I was about 12. And just to date myself, I'm currently 52. So that puts me at right around the 4-decade mark of playing the guitar.
Woohoo!
But I think even before I started playing, I knew that I was musically inclined, because I remember in my first grade class, I got all my friends together and my teacher was nice enough to let us put on a Kiss concert. I am dating myself here, and you're probably going to hear me reference a lot of music and bands from my youth that are going to make me sound like a 52-year-old. But Kiss was a big thing in the early 70s and the 70s, and were a big thing for me, especially a lot of kids my age. And we put the makeup on, and we went to class, and we played their music, and we pretended that we were Kiss. And it was the first time, I guess, I performed in front of people. Then a year later, I guess my tastes changed a little bit, and my second grade teacher let us put on a Doors concert for the band The Doors. And we had a lot of fun doing that too. So I guess I started getting the reputation in my grade school as the guy who was fronting the fake bands and putting on fake concerts in class. I would go home, and my brother had these mirrors for his closet doors, and I would put on his records and put on the live albums that he had of all the bands, because back in the 70s, a lot of bands put live records out. And I would listen to the music and hear the big crowds, and I would take a wood block and I would draw a fake guitar on the wood block, and I would sit in front of the mirror and I would pretend I was playing the guitar, and I would pretend I was in the band, and I would practice all my moves in front of the mirror, and I would play along with the music. And I really thought that this helped me coordinate. Even before I was actually playing the guitar, I feel like this helped me coordinate to playing music. Even though I wasn't actually playing music.
You were building those skills without the instrument.
Yeah, I was building rhythm, even though I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I think my parents probably recognized this because my brothers were very into hard rock and music, and I was listening to a lot of music. And then one of my aunts gave me an old acoustic guitar. Now I play left-handed, and I'm right-handed, which is even stranger.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You're
I play guitar
right-handed?
left-handed, but I'm right-handed.
And you left. What? That blows
Yeah,
my mind. How did that come to be? Or,
I have no idea.
huh?
I don't know. I'm not ambidextrous. I don't like
That
when I
is
play
so
sports.
unique.
I write right-handed. I throw right-handed. I kick right-handed.
That's funny. I am
Uh,
left-handed, and I learned to play right-handed guitar.
I
So
think
we're
99% of the world plays right-handed guitar.
yeah,
So,
we're reversed. That is so funny.
and I think every guitar person in every guitar shop growing up, and every person I knew told me to learn right-handed, but just never stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But then I always tell them that, Jimi Hendrix, Paul McCartney, Dick Dale, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, and later on Kurt Cobain from Nirvana, they're all left-handed guitar players, and they're all pretty
Wow.
important guitar players.
That's a lot more than I thought. So
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
So I got my first guitar, and then I took some lessons from one of my brother's friends, but it didn't really stick. Probably when I was about 10 or 11, because I didn't have the temperament at the time or interest to practice what he was telling me to practice, because I just wanted to learn songs. Like a lot of kids, I think at that time, just they don't want to put the work in to really do all the hard work, learn scales, do the exercises. They just want to learn how to play songs. So I didn't really stick to me. So a couple of years later, when I got a little more serious, when I was around 12, 13, I really wanted to start playing seriously, and bought my first guitar, saved up some money, bought my first guitar the same week that a really good friend of mine bought a drum kit. And
That's helpful.
we formed our first band in 7th grade. And we had another friend who had a guitar, and we talked another friend into buying a bass. We had another friend, a classmate of ours, who said, "Hey, I'll sing for you guys." And we formed our first band, a little heavy metal band.
In seventh grade.
Called High Voltage. I still have a tape of this band. And our first show was our 8th grade talent show. And that was the first time I did a live show in front of people. And that was it. I was hooked. And I have not stopped playing in bands or performing since. And was the first time I really realized the power of performance of music in front of people.
Can you expound on that? What is the power of performance? What happens when you perform?
I think it's multiple things. This energy that you get, sitting in your room and playing music by yourself is one thing. Get a joy out of that. And playing it with your friends in the basement or a garage or wherever your rehearsal space is fun too. You get fun from that. But then when you get it and you play in front of a crowd of people, whether it's your classmates or your friends, or at a party or at a bar or at an arena or a stadium, it's the feedback and energy you get from a crowd watching you and giving you positive feedback or accolade it's a powerful feeling when you finish a song and you get an applause. It's a powerful feeling to know that you've entertained somebody. It's a powerful feeling to know that you've put all this hard work into practicing for months and months and months, and that somebody responds to it. I think for me, a little bit of it is, I don't want to say, it's not showing off. It's not like cockiness. It's more like, let me show you what I can do and entertain you a little bit with what I can do, and show you all the hard work we've done and entertain you with it. To me, it entertains me. Let me hope that it entertains you. And I think we're pretty good. Hopefully you think we're pretty good, kind of thing. And I think it's very powerful to people. And I think that's a lot of reasons why people say, why is that band, why is Paul McCartney still playing music? He's in his 70s or 80s and got all the money in the world, and the Beatles. Why is he still playing music? Why does he still have to tour? And he doesn't need, because going in front of 25,000 people every night screaming, it's a powerful drug, if you will, like that people can't put down, because it's a great feeling. It's probably like the feeling an athlete gets when the basketball player hits the winning shot, or the guy hits a home run.
Yeah.
The lady scores the winning goal in the World Cup or something. It's a powerful feeling to know you're getting the fans, or people are just rooting for you.
Yeah.
That's what I would probably equate it to.
Yeah. I know, like, music is the language of emotions, right? And when you're on stage, when you're performing, those emotions are amplified. Yours are amplified. People in the audience, they're amplified, and it's just this rise of energy that's so good, and everybody feels it right in the room. And
Yes.
so, yeah, it's really unique.
After I went to high school, I had a great high school where there was there's bands. There was like 6 bands in my high school. So it was a very musical high school with a lot of great talent. And this ties into the topic of the first few topics of our conversation today, which is the community, which is the first time I discovered like a music community, where it was the first time I saw that there was other people with, like, besides me and my little group of friends, where I met like kind of people that were strangers at the time that were also in other bands that weren't like us, but playing all different types of music. And they were, I was a freshman and they were seniors and they had their own band. There was people that were juniors and sophomores and people in all different groups and different types of people that were all in different types of bands with all different types of skill sets. And we played this benefit show in our high school where there were 6 different bands, and everybody got together for a diabetes benefit show, and we all like kind of became friendly with each other. And then we'd see each other in the hallways, and we all knew each other, like, oh, you're the guy in that band. And we all just sort of knew each other, and everybody was cool with each other and knew each other and became friendly. And it was like this little community of, oh, you're the drummer in that band, you're the bass player in this band, you're the guitar player in that band. And we would see each other and you'd start talking about like, oh, you haven't, like, I knew that guy was a really good guitar player, so I'd ask him for tips. And the bass players would and so you'd sort of, someone that I would otherwise never really probably interact with because I was a freshman, and freshmen didn't talk to the seniors, right? So, but now that senior knew I was a guitar player. So we would talk, and he knew I was in a band, and we would talk. So that was the first time I really started to experience community. Of musicians and music and people that were like-minded, and went to college. After that, I went to college, and then it sort of that was where it really multiplied by like 1,000. Because I went to West Virginia University in Morgantown, West Virginia, and that's where I discovered that there was my high school was tiny music scene compared to the music scene there, where I went in there where there was already a robust music scene, believe it or not, in this college town that was already existing and vibrant of all kinds of music. So our little bubble that we had in my New Jersey hometown was mostly like rock and roll, like hard rock and heavy metal and some stuff like that. I went to Morgantown and there was reggae bands, there was punk rock bands, there was hippie bands, there was bluegrass, there was jazz, there was everything going on. So I would go to
Morgantown, West Virginia.
In Morgantown, and this was in 1991.
Wow, yeah.
I would go out every night with my roommates and friends, and we would just go to the local one club there that had, really good music, and we would just see 3 bands a night, every night, and just be onslaughted with the new music, like every night, from bands locally and from regionally and national bands, and just sponge it all up at that age. Just seeing new music that not bands that are on MTV, bands you've never heard of, but you just go see them, and then you absorb all this music. But then you start meeting all the people that played in town. And that was when I really started just the mind expanding in terms of really learning about the music community, really getting to discover how a community of musicians work together in a small town and really help each other. Now, of course, you had some bad eggs here and there, some people that weren't helpful, but that's another important thing too. I'll discuss a little bit of that later when we get deeper into the topics, but I'm just kind of giving a quick synopsis background here. And then I sort of went off after college. I formed a band in college and ended up in the DC area after college in the late 90s, and have been playing in bands since then and have continued doing all that. And the DC community has a great, high school was this small, Morgantown was this small, then you move to the DC and the community, and it's at times 1,000 in Morgantown, it's times 1,000,000 in the DC region, right? Because it's a major metropolitan area. So now there's thousands of musicians around here, and there's a way more influence of styles and everything going on here. So around here, you have access to everything from the Kennedy Center to Nationals Park has bands, to the 930 Club, to local bars, to my basement where I have parties. So, there's all kinds of access to music here, and a couple years ago started teaching. So it's all come sort of full circle from my first guitar lesson with my brother's friend
Yes.
And now I'm the guy giving people their first guitar lessons. And I often bring it back when I'm teaching my students now. I often think about when I was that 11-year-old kid getting my first lesson and getting annoyed and being like, well, I want to learn my Judas Priest song. I want to learn this AC/DC song. And why do I have to do this finger exercise? I don't want to learn my scales. I don't care about scales. I want to learn, well, I try to explain to them, well, we can learn this song, but you also need to do this and this and this. So
does that work?
Try to bring all these experiences in and sort of tie them all together, give some background context when teaching music. That's the 10-minute version, I suppose, of my history as a musician.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You wrote here, post-college, the struggle. I'm curious what that is. What was the struggle?
Well, the struggle is, I think that every young musician dreams of making it, right? And how I define making it would be, I think when you're really young, you think you're going to be a rock star. Everyone thinks they're going to be the next Led Zeppelin or the next Rolling Stones or whatever when you're young. And then I think when you get realistic, you realize at some point in your life, you're not going to be that. And I think that at one point I realized that my goal was not to do that. My goal was to just make a life in music. And one of the things in terms of realizing the struggle after college was how hard that is to do.
Yeah.
Because outside of, if you're in a band like me, I'm in a band that plays all original music. It's very hard to make a living doing that because you have to get discovered or signed to a major label and you have to find a way to go on tour. And you know, not everybody is the Foo Fighters, right? Not everybody's the next Nirvana or the Red Hot Chili Peppers or whoever the big band is now. So it's very hard to succeed at that, and very few do it. So it's, even if you are successful, it's hard to maintain that success. So the struggle comes with putting in a lot of work, and getting very little reward. You have to create your own rewards from it. And
that's good.
have always found my own rewards in music, and that is the music itself. Playing music for me has always been the reward. For me, from day one, it was never about money. It was never about how many people are at my shows. It was never about how many, nowadays it's never about how many streams I get. It's never even really about, although it's nice, it's never about someone telling me whether they love it or not. I mean, the number one person I need to please is myself first. And then if somebody else likes it or buys it, or that's an added bonus as far as I'm concerned, because you need to play music for yourself. You need to be happy with playing music yourself, right? You don't play the piano or drums or sing or play the trombone or the guitar or anything please somebody else. I mean, maybe when you're taking a lesson, you obviously want to please your teacher or your family, you know, to make sure that you're making progress, of course. But you need to make sure you're happy with playing, right? You want to be happy. You're playing an instrument to make yourself happy. That's my concept of the fun part of playing music. You're not doing it to make yourself angry. And I do know musicians like that who are never satisfied with their playing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. They're hard on themselves. Yeah. There's different benefits that come from music, and we tap into different ones. I think even at different points of our lives. Like growing up, I played music to release my emotions because I didn't always understand them. Like I would have these feelings of frustration or anger, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I would play them away on the guitar or the piano. And then as I got older, I started to explore composing, writing my own music. And so I got to build the benefits of like creativity and what can my mind create. And I really enjoyed that. And then I started looking into the intelligence piece of music, like understanding music theory. How far can I really push myself? How far can I increase my skill? Like, can I play it at a faster tempo, or can I really understand transposing into all these different keys, you know, quickly? Now I'm at this point where I really want to make my music life. It's always been very personal to me, like just me, myself, and I. And I am lacking that power performance that you're talking about. It's not natural for me to perform. Like I'm a really timid performer. Like some questions for you, like how does someone like me who Like I really want to share my skill, my talent, but like my body just has a reaction. Like I start to get clammy. It's harder to control my fingers. I'm overthinking things. Sometimes my mind will go blank and I'll forget what I'm playing. What do you tell to someone like me?
That's a really good question. Some people are more natural performers than others, obviously. A lot of people do get nervous performing. It's the classic public speaking is number one fear of a lot of people. And I think that's performance, right? That's performance anxiety.
Yeah.
People ask me constantly, do you get nervous performing in front of people? And I said, anybody who tells you they don't get nervous performing in front of people is lying. I don't care what they say. The second day before they walk on stage, they're not getting butterflies. They're not a human being. It's a natural reaction to get a little nervous and excited. I call it nervous energy. I get nervously excited. I get anxiously excited before I play. I'm not nervous because my advice to somebody like you is, you have the talent to do it, right? Like, so I was talking about this the other day, a couple musicians, and I said, because they're talking about sports, like how does somebody play in front of 20,000 people and hit that shot,
Yeah.
And I said to them, do you know how to play a G chord? Like, how confident are you that you know how to play a G chord? They're like, are you 100% confident that you know how to play a G chord? Like, yeah. I'm like, so you're absolutely 100% confident that you know how to play a G chord on the guitar? Like, yes. I'm like, then you can play a G chord, right? So you know that. So there's nothing stopping you from playing that G chord, right? Like, you know that you can play a G chord if someone asked you to at any moment, anywhere, at any time. So it's sort of like building up this confidence. And then if you're nervous in front of people, it's almost like, now this is easier said than done, of course, for somebody who's nervous performing. You can't just say it and do it. It's sort of like putting yourself in a zone. It's like this zone where you just sort of have to tunnel vision out everybody and everything and just focus on what you're doing. It's almost like nobody is there in the room with you except you and your instrument. And you've seen me perform, I think, only one time so far. And, it was a big room with a lot of people, a lot of noise. But like, I just shut my eyes because I have to focus, mostly because I'm singing lyrics. And if I open my eyes and start looking at people, then I start looking at them
I think I did notice that. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not because I'm in some intense, like, emotional state. It's that when I practice by myself, I always sit there and go, I'm gonna look at people. I play with my eyes open, but the second I get in front of people, I have to close my eyes, because if I start looking at people, I'll get distracted.
Okay.
If I saw you in the audience and I'm playing, I would start, like, look at you. I'd start thinking about, like, being at your party the last time we were there and playing the game, and I'll lose track of what I'm thinking. Like, my brain will wander to something else and I'll lose my concentration. Like, so it's more like me preventing myself from losing my concentration than anything else, because I have to sort of put myself in this zone. I just tell people, like, you just sort of need to get yourself into this mental zone. Again, I know this is easier said than done, but it's just something through practicing and doing. Yeah. And I don't play like 300 shows a year. I just do maybe like 10 to 20 shows a year. But I've been doing it for, 20, 30 years. So it's something that you just sort of need to just do over and over, and just do it where you sort of like have the confidence, which is borderline cockiness of like that confidence where like, I am good at this. I know what I'm doing. I can totally nail this. Yeah. And then combined with like, nobody's going to distract me. Like, I'm in this zone, because I've seen a lot of people, I've played with people in bands that get distracted. They start focusing on the audience. They start moving around on stage too much, and then they screw up. They're always the ones that screw up on stage. Are the ones that are too performative. They're jumping around and they're having fun, and they're putting on a good show for the audience. But musically, they're screwing up.
Okay,
unless
really
you're Flea from the Chili Peppers, where you can go crazy and still hit all the notes, you're a phenom. That's one thing, but it's just like, until you can do that, it's really about like this intense level of concentration combined with an intense level of confidence. Like those two things combined I think, are the key to performance. Like,
Okay.
2 words I would say. But I do completely understand that the physical reaction,
Yeah.
I get that too. I might look like I'm up there like loose and confident, and I am more comfortable on stage now than I've ever been. And that's just from,
It does get better.
it gets better. And I do think it literally is just something you have to just say to, and I also tell people, everybody's rooting for you.
Yes.
There are some jerks out there at your show, at our shows, that like, show me what you got. I don't like you. I don't like you. But 95% of the people that are coming to watch you perform they want to be entertained by you.
Yeah.
They want you to do good. They're not looking to humbug you.
That's nice to hear, because
You know?
I immediately think, 70% of these people are here like, they can't prove themselves. They're not good enough for me. But that's not your experience.
Well, if it is, I perform most of the time I feel like a lot of people in the audience are other musicians.
Yeah.
They're judging you against themselves. But I've also had a lot of other experience with a lot of musicians coming up to me and complimenting me, which is always nice.
Yeah.
But I also know there's probably a lot of musicians out there who are comparing and being like, I can do that, or he's not any good. But I also don't care, because I'm also like, but I'm up here doing it.
I think that's key, is just have to stop caring. Yeah.
You can't really bother yourself with those people, because first of all, you're up there doing it. And if they're not, then they're not. And if someone's going to disparage you, then it's not like then why don't you come up here and do it? It's that they're not up there doing it. You are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they want to, then let them. And what is really someone gaining out of disparaging you, like, up there? If they think they're better than you, then they are. I have newsflash. Someone's better than them. Like,
Point. Yeah.
right. And I truly believe this too. I've never, ever looked at music as a competition. Like, it's not who's better than who. Like, it's, if I see someone better than me, I'm inspired by that.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a guitar player that's like doing something really cool, I'm like, that's awesome. I go home, I want to play guitar. I'll go up to them and be like, you were awesome. That's great. I'm not going to go home and be like all pissed off about it and be like, oh man, that person sucked.
Right.
Really,
Yeah.
There's too many people out there that do that. And so, I mean, I think that back to the performance aspect, I think I pick up very quickly on stiff performers. And I do think that an audience does too. They will notice when somebody is really good at playing, but very stiff and nervous.
Yeah.
But audiences also love loose performers. And if they're not even that good at their instrument, they'll give them a big leash.
Yeah.
If
They're more
loose,
forgiving.
Fun. And fun, because they'll be like, oh, well, that person was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
They were just so loose and fun and funny and comfortable. And so who cares if they only played one chord? Or who cares if they screwed up? They were funny about it. Like, they were cool. Like, they were loose. They were joyful, and they didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to care that they screwed up. Who cares? It's like they didn't take themselves too seriously or whatever. They're not trying to be Beethoven, It's like, I don't think it's that big a deal. I think you're always your own worst critic too.
Yes. Yeah. And the only way to diminish that voice is to go out there and really practice it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
That was good. So moving on, I know we want to talk about like the effects of musical training and childhood development.
Yes.
Let's talk on that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I did some research on specifically on this one NIH study that was really interesting, because I know we were here to talk about early childhood musical training and how it affects in a positive way on childhood. And I think there's nothing really that's probably going out on a limb on what I read and what people would expect from it. But I think it's probably stuff you would expect, in the sense that children who get into musical training early, and they said even as early as 3 years old, which I find
That's
interesting
early.
for certain instruments. Probably for the piano or singing, maybe, but certain instruments are more physically demanding.
Or what you were doing, just developing rhythm.
Yeah, developing rhythm, or just playing along, show and tell, or playing along. Like defined motor skills and rhythm perception and auditory discrimination, knowing different sounds and verbal cues. The study was talking about, and we can provide a link to this study, leads to just better general academic performances all around. It helps children just with better general communication, physical coordination. They get better at cooperating with each other. Obviously, because you're playing with other people, you have to obviously coordinate with the music together, and even empathy within a group. And I've seen this through group lessons that I give, where I will see students helping each other when they hear them making mistakes. I will see them being very encouraging to each other. If they see another student struggling without me even asking them, I will see another student turn to another one and say, "Oh, this is how you play it," or let me help you with that note, or this is the D note is actually the third fret, not the first fret. Or I will see a lot of empathy and cooperation with students.
Yeah.
Without me even asking them. Not saying that this doesn't happen naturally between children in other areas, but I do see it in the music too. The children could just be preemptively already adept at doing that regardless. The study also talks about listening skills, sound discrimination, specifically with speech, which I found very interesting, learning a second language, and verbal fluency and memory and reading skills. Specifically, like it helps, supposedly learning music will help make it easier to learn a second language, because essentially music is a second language, right?
Yeah.
You're learning notes, notation, rhythms, melodies. You're essentially having to learn, even though you're not speaking it, you're playing it, you're learning a second language. There's a lot of things to learn, rhythms, notes, all these, it's almost like a foreign language to some people.
Yeah.
And that a lot of these children have done better with vocabulary tests compared to students that didn't have the training. They were talking a lot about executive function, which refers to the cognitive process orchestrated by the prefrontal cortex, which is just very, very scientific. But that's something that allows us to stay focused on our goals and to willfully alter our behaviors in response to a change to an environment. So stays focused on a goal. And obviously, I think with musical training, you're talking about setting a goal, right? You have to learn a scale, you have to learn a song, you have to learn a rhythm, you have to learn a chord. And they're saying that this study was talking about how this has shown improvement in as little as 20 days. That's something that I took note of. And obviously, so if it's as little as 20 days as improvement, you can imagine what 3 years of lessons can do.
Do you remember what they were measuring that they saw an improvement in 20 days?
I don't forget specifically, because it was a pretty long study.
Yeah.
Again, I can provide the link to that specific study. But
that is interesting, though, that can develop so quickly.
Yes. I think it's mostly just focused on a specific goal, which I found very interesting because, I believe it was something with kids, especially with kids with ADHD, who might have trouble focusing on one specific thing for a longer period of time. That, music can help them to learn how to stay focused on something for an extended period of time, or at least a little bit longer than usual. Because it's something that requires a certain amount of focus for an extended period.
Yes.
Learning rhythms specifically are something that I found interesting, and social communication, like taking turns, like learning how to be in sync with a group, like learning rhythms, like think of a drummer and maybe in group drumming, you play the beat, then the next drummer plays the beat, and then the trombone plays the beat, and then the timpani plays the beat. So it's sort of like you're learning how to take turns. So that's a form of social communication. So music, in a lot of ways, is this sort of form of you're socially communicating with each other in this sort of, I'm learning how to take my turn. And all jokes aside, how in a rock band, everybody just wants to all play at once and be loud and not take their turns. But there is this whole thing in it, like in a jazz band, where everyone takes their turn solo. And it's, but in an early childhood, that's something where, you're learning how each instrument is learning how to wait its turn. Here's your turn to play the notes. Here's your turn to play the notes. Here's your turn to accompany.
That's actually really valuable, because I'm thinking about this now. And when you're a child, the world revolves around you, right? And you're so used to mom, dad, and they respond, everybody's paying attention to you. And so now when you're put in this position where, oh, wait a second, I have to learn. It's not always about me. It's not always my time. And I have to be considerate of my peers. And they have to learn that. The social cues here so early on it's really important for them to understand, like, yeah, there's other people around me and I got to share the space. I got to share the attention. I can't receive it all at once just for myself. And it also makes you feel good. Like you start to learn like, oh, it is okay to share this. It makes me feel good. Yeah. So that's actually a really nice point.
Yeah, and there's like an emotional reward to supporting somebody else.
Yes.
Like giving a gift versus receiving a gift, right? Like it's it's fun to support somebody, to play rhythm, not lead.
Yes.
To hold the rhythm while someone's playing the melody. There's that reward, like you just said, like to not be the center of attention musically. It's nice sometimes.
It feels good to be a supporting act as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That leads right into the rewards, the conscientiousness, persistence, selective attention, self-discipline. I mean, all these things are all needed in musical training. And again, some of these might pre-exist. They could be inherited, but these are all things that are needed for playing music. They can all be enhanced through musical training. Persistence and selective attention and discipline are very important in music, right? You need to be self-disciplined. Having a teacher is obviously someone's going to help you be disciplined, but it's very important for you to be consistent and disciplined in yourself. And the more disciplined everyone always asks me like, oh, how long is it going to take me to get good at this? How long until I can do this? How long until I do that? And I always say, I know it's cliche, but the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. So it's really up to you. I overheard at a music store recently, a guy behind the register, a younger lady in her teens, he asked her, do you have a guitar teacher? And she said, no. And he goes, well, you don't really need one. And I was like, ugh. And then he goes, well, but it's like going to the gym. He goes, do you need a trainer when you go to the gym to achieve your goals? Not necessarily, but if you have one, you'll get there a lot quicker.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy, right? That's what that's what a guitar teacher does.
Yeah.
He goes, you'll get there a lot quicker. So that's the discipline, right? You could go to the gym and you could work out on your own and you can reach a goal, right? If you want to build muscle or lose weight, you can get there on your own, of course. Yeah. But if you have a trainer, you're probably going to get there quicker and probably get there a little more professional, healthier way. And same thing with music. Like, can you teach yourself how to play music? Yeah, I taught myself how to play guitar most of my life. But can you do it in a cleaner, better way if you have somebody training you to do it? Obviously. Yeah. So I think that's the reward.
Yeah. And I think it's just more fun, right? You don't have to do this journey alone. It's just a lot more fun to share with somebody else that you trust, admire, feel comfortable with. If you're going to learn something new and you're going to work hard at it, you're going to practice, build discipline at it, why not sprinkle in some fun into the journey and do it with someone?
Another reward of playing music is I feel like it will open people up to new experiences of playing music. It's one of these things where this is maybe hard to judge, but this is something where you by discovering music, you're discovering a lot of things about different cultures too. You might start reading, I remember when I first got into jazz and believe it or not, I got into jazz in high school and started reading the back of the jazz CDs and albums and like learning about John Coltrane. And then I would read all about this John Coltrane stuff and then read about African brass and discovering all these weird instruments that were on his albums and be like, where is this instrument from? And then you start reading about this instrument and it was from Africa. And you start reading about African instruments and you start learning about all these different things you didn't know about. Where was this musician from? What country is this guy from? Or this lady from? And then you discover all these other things that you might not otherwise ever be interested in. Yeah. This is a funny little thing, but I remember the heavy metal band Iron Maiden had a song, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which is from a poem by Samuel Coleridge. And I remember when I was like 10 years old, going to the library and taking that book out. I think the librarian looked at me like, what are you taking this book out for? Like, she couldn't believe I was taking this poem out by this old British guy. And I was like, well, I want to read this because this is a song by the band Iron Maiden. And I read the whole thing, and I don't think I understood any of it, but I thought it was cool because it was, by an Iron Maiden song. Yeah. And I was like, this is something I would have never taken out The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Coleridge. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. If I didn't listen to the Iron Maiden song, I know it's a stretch, but this is the type of cultural things that I was interested in because I was paying attention to like lyrics of songs and like reading about things. But, it's just these are the type of rewards I think music can offer children if they have that sort of, want to dive deeper into just listening. They get more interested in, like I was, at like the lyrics and reading about who makes it and what they're writing about. And I think just the other reward is I just feel like getting a positive feeling from playing music is the reward itself, and that just makes the continuous circle of you get positive feedback, you want to keep playing. It just keeps giving you the positive feeling, and then you just keep wanting to play because you just keep getting the positive. Back to the performance thing, you play, you have a nice crowd, you get a nice cheer, you get a good feeling, so you just want to keep playing in front of people. Then you write a good song, you play a cool riff, you play a cool piano line, you're a drummer, you play a nice thing, you sing a nice note.
Yes.
You just want to keep doing it. It makes you feel good to do it.
Yeah.
You just keep doing it. So I just feel like all these things just kind of add into wanting to do that. So, in the conclusion of it, I think it's just all those things like the focus, the coordination, reward, helps your memory, helps your communication, helps you correlate things together and associate things. And all these things together, the discipline, all these things I feel like are ways that it helps children with brain power. It's all helping their young minds develop.
Yeah.
And music, I think, just enhances all those things.
Yes,
in a positive
absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
It can only help.
Right. It can only help. What about people in their midlife where they maybe are not really retired yet, but things are starting to slow down? Maybe their kids moved out of the house and they have a little bit of extra time on their hands. Are there any of these benefits that would it also work for people later in life?
I think at any point in our life, I have a couple students now in their 40s. I know my wife had taken music lessons her whole life, but really started getting heavily into guitar, not really until her early 30s. Really started getting into guitar. I think that I'm discovering a lot of people I know right now. I know a friend of mine who's in his 60s who just started kind of getting into the guitar, who wants to be a campfire guitarist, as he calls it, just someone who can play some chords,
Yeah.
I'm hearing that term a lot.
That is a thing.
I'm hearing that term a lot. And for those that don't know, a campfire guitarist is somebody who essentially someone just wants to learn some chords so they can like sit around, play chords and sing some songs. Like, they don't want to play like, rip lead guitar and learn all the crazy stuff. They just want to be able to like play A, B, C, D, E, F, G, major and minor chords, so they can just basically open up a songbook and play any song.
Any kind of pop song.
Any kind of pop song, which is pretty much, you learn
the same chords.
Those chords, you can pretty much play anything. And I feel like at any age you can start learning. I think there's a big myth that if you don't start young, you can't play an instrument, and I think that's completely false. Completely 1000% false. I think it's very rewarding to play music at any age. It's never too late to start learning. I think people would be surprised, especially as adults. I think adults are very quick learners because you already have the skill set in your brain to pick up things quickly, maybe even quicker than children in some way, because I think adults have better correlation skills in terms of like, I can show an adult like a chord pattern that your fingers go like this, and that minor chord is the same everywhere. They might pick that up easier than a child might, right? Child maybe has trouble putting it together.
Yeah.
An octave, the 7 notes of a scale are the same, and they're just different octaves. Oh, that might be easier for an adult to understand versus a younger child.
Yeah.
There's just certain things I think adults can correlate easier when learning an instrument, especially a guitar, which can be physically imposing sometimes for a younger child, unless they get a children's guitar, because it can be physically hard on the fingers sometimes.
Right. Yeah. You have to build those calluses.
Yeah. And I think that also music can be an extremely great stress reliever for an adult.
This is what I'm very curious about. Yes. So if you can expound on that somewhat.
Well, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier, how when you were younger, you would compose and you'd play if you were feeling upset or something was bothering you, you just kind of jump on, play a guitar, play the piano or whatever. I know the joke is always someone wants to go away and bang on the drums if they're stressed out or, something like that. But I've always found in whatever emotional state I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
Playing the guitar has been great, whether I'm in a great mood or in a really bad mood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic way to remove yourself from the world and just go into this little box of just, again, back to performance. You just kind of everything goes away.
Yeah.
You just go inside of your instrument and nothing else matters for for the 5 minutes or the 5 hours that you're playing. And you don't have to think about anything else.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're extremely present, or are you more thinking about the past, the future? Like, where is your brain when you're in that state?
When I'm in the state of playing, I'm just playing. I'm in the music. I'm really not thinking about anything else.
Would you say that's basically a form of being present in this just focusing on this moment?
Yeah. I think it's almost like meditative in a way.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a lot of times when I'm in my classroom teaching and I'll have the guitar on between classes and I'm playing and I'll get the stare on, like, why are you staring at me? I'm looking at you, but I'm not even looking at you. Like, I'm just playing the guitar and I'm not even, like, you're looking at somebody, but your eyes are looking at them, but I'm just thinking about what I'm playing.
You're extremely focused on the present and nothing else matters. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. And like when I play in the band, I'm just thinking about what's coming next musically.
Okay.
Like I was saying earlier, like that's why I close my eyes. Like I believe when I play music, I would use the term hyper-focused. Like extremely hyper-focused on playing.
How long is that period?
However long I'm playing.
Can that be hours long or just 30 minutes, 10 minutes? Like, what are we talking?
I mean, I think it's whenever I pick up the instrument. Yeah. Once I pick up the instrument, I'm hyper-focused. I think about maybe 10 or 15 minutes before we're getting ready to perform, I get myself into that headspace of just sort of like, okay, now I need to go and get focused, like turn everything out and just get into that headspace.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's important to sort of tune everybody out and just be like, I got to think about a lot of things, you know?
Yeah.
And as a singer and someone who plays guitar and sings, I got to think about all the lyrics. I mean, I always bring
really
up
working.
90. I would always say the term 90 verses because there was a show we played once at the brewery that you came and saw us at years ago where we were doing 3 sets.
Wow.
And I counted it. I had 90 verses.
Wow. That takes
songs. And I said, I have to
so much brain power.
And I don't use cheat sheets.
Really?
Like, I don't have like
you memorize
or sheets. Like it's all in my head.
You memorize all that.
I memorize it all.
Wow. That's so many hours of work.
It's just memory. Impressive. It's just like I have a good memory like that. I don't write anything down. Some people I've played with in the past, they have like little notes. They'll put notes on the stage.
Yeah.
They'll put notes on the floor.
Yeah.
That's fine. I completely understand why people have to do that.
Yeah.
I have no.
But you've trained your brain in a way where it's just how you operate. It's your success system.
Yeah, it's just, and everybody has their own system. I mean, some people like to think of songs like this is 8 measures, 12 measures, 16 measures, blah, blah, blah. I still, because I'm a songwriter, I think verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse, bridge. Like, I still think like that. I don't count. I always say I don't count. But like the rest of my band members do. They'll be like, okay, that goes 24 bars, and then it goes 6 bars.
Yeah.
So, but everybody does it their own way.
Right.
I just kind of go by feel or bridge, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bridge. I just go like that.
Yeah.
But whatever works for everybody, whatever your system is what you should use. I always say there's no right or wrong way. Like, unless you're looking at a piece of sheet music, it's written out that you have to follow. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just the way you do it that works for you. Whatever that is what works.
I just really like hearing that musicians are pretty much like expert meditators. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised how many musicians meditate off stage. Like
off stage too.
I mean, I know a few that do. I mean, they have their own systems for doing that. But that's back to the original question. I think that it is a fantastic emotional release of any kind. And I think that a lot of people always say, when I'm stressed out, I play. When I'm stressed out, I do this. I also think it's great when you're in a great mood.
Yes.
It's a great thing to do when you're happy too. It's also just a great thing to do when you're just in a neutral mood. When you're bored, if you're just sitting around, like pick up an instrument, just play around it. It's never like a thing that's not rewarding in any way. But there's also some days where I pick up a guitar, I jump on the piano, and it's just not doing it for me. I'm also at the point now where I know that I can pick up the instrument and I know when it's just not my day. I pick it up and I'm just like, It's just I'm not feeling it today. Like
Yeah.
I put it down after 5 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not having any fun today. Or I have my days where I'm like, I'm not good. I'm boring myself. This is not fun today. I'm done. Put it down, and I give up on it. I mean, I might go a week sometimes without playing, and just say,
you don't like judge yourself for that as like a performer or musician, like, oh, I have to practice. I haven't practiced in days.
I don't have a system. Like I don't have I have to practice every day for 2 hours.
Okay.
I don't, but I have my own self-critiques. Yeah, I know what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
I've tried in the last like 6-7 months to get better at those things.
Yeah.
I've conscientiously, especially since I started teaching, identified a lot of things I need to get better at so I can pass those things on to students.
Well, like you said, everyone does have a system. And I love that your system was built out of love. So it's not like, oh, this overlooming judgment, like this is what I need to be, or this person is better than me, I need to work harder. It's truly because you love it and it's something you enjoy and it makes you happy. And that's the kind of system that you have for life. That's what gets you, that gives you benefits for the rest of your life. The learning to fail, learning to take advice, learning to take criticism. Oh my goodness, these are things that are so hard for this like day and age. It's really unique to find a person that's okay with, like, even myself, like, who can be comfortable failing, who can be comfortable like taking criticism. So yeah, tell me about this. This is interesting.
I put it under my college listing because I specifically remember it was constructive criticism I received when my college band had just first started. And we were playing with this band that was established already in town. And their bass player, who was a really sweet guy, really awesome bass player, really talented musician, really great singer, really great bass player. He was already on the scene when I got there, older guy. Had a lot of respect for him. We were opening up for his band. He was a really nice guy. And like we had done sound check. And after sound check, he just came up to me and he just, the nicest self-constructive criticism way, basically, I don't remember exactly his words, but singing a song during sound check, and he just basically said to me, he's like, you know, man, you got to give it more, like, you got to sing it with more, like, soul, basically, or something. Like, he's like, when you're singing, you got to give it more of yourself. Like, you're just kind of singing it with, like, not any real power or soul. You just, like, really lay it. He's like, you got to, like, sing it like you mean it kind of thing. He gave me, he was giving me constructive criticism. He wasn't like, man, you just suck and you don't really sing with any soul. He was like, kind of give me like advice / criticism / and why I write learning to take it is because he gave it to me in a very constructive way, in a very nice way, in a gentle way, but in a way that was basically like, you're doing something wrong. Here's my advice how to do it. But the main important thing was it was from someone that I respected. I want to hurt you, and it's the way they're delivering it. You know, learning to fail is extremely important in music.
Agree. But how?
You're going to fail a lot in music. I've been playing guitar for 40 years. I fail all the time playing music still. Everybody does. I don't care who they are. Yo-Yo Ma, I'm sure, is playing his cello somewhere right now and missing notes and kicking himself for it. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody flubs. Some people are just better at hiding it. It is part of learning music, and learning music, it never ends. You never stop learning music. You don't master it. You don't ever finish learning music. You're always learning it, and you have to keep failing to know what you're doing wrong. So you can't be upset at like missing a note. I laugh all the time. I have so many band practice tapes of me like singing out of pitch, singing a wrong note, missing a note, and all you hear is me laughing after it happens because it's like funny to
you
me
have
now.
To make it light.
It's just, it's gonna happen, and it happens to every person. I mean, some people get really angry at themselves, and that's the way they motivate themselves, and that's fine. I laugh at myself when it happens because I think it's funny, because I have the confidence of knowing that it's just a mistake. Like, I know I can do it. Like, back to I know I can play a G chord. I just missed that one. It's not like I can't do it. I know how to do it. I just happened to miss that one. So isn't that funny that I missed that one? Like, it happens. It's why every time I'm giving a lesson, someone messes up. I'm like, it's no big deal. Like, you just missed it. Like, you flubbed, you missed the note. Big deal. Like, it's not like you don't know how to play the note. You just missed it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can fail. It's not the end of the world. Like, it's not brain surgery. No one's going to die if you miss the C note. In the end, it's not that serious. You're not doing a recital for your entry into Berklee School of Music or at Carnegie Hall, then maybe it's a little more serious. But in the end, it is just music. It is just fun. So back to the failing, I just we're not all Bruce Springsteen. Like, we're not all rock stars, right? In that sense of you have to learn to fail in the sense of whatever your goals are, you might not achieve them in that sense. And you have to make peace with that, and then just set another goal, and be happy with those goals. So that's what I think those points are really important, and making peace with those things.
I like how you said you never stop learning. Being a musician, that means you're going to be a student for life. And part of that learning experience is failing, and it doesn't need to be such a big deal. Yeah, it's just part of life. Yeah.
Nope, not at all. It really doesn't. I mean, I truly believe that it's never ends. Like, you always have something new you can learn.